Hey everybody, it's Rory from A&S Gear, and we're going to look at some more feed necks from Planet Eclipse today. We have replacement complete feed necks for Planet Eclipse guns. We have them in the Geo version, the Eclipse version, and the Ego version. They are not cross-compatible with each other. So if you have a Geo and you see that we have Ego feed necks, don't buy them because they won't fit. They won't fit properly. Let me rephrase that. You can probably make it get on there, but it's not going to sit the way it's supposed to on the gun. They are not cut the same. The Geo feed neck is flat bottomed. The Ego feed neck, like this one, or the Gtek feed neck, it does not, it's not flat on the bottom. It actually tapers down a little bit where the screw hole is, just because of how the feed neck actually sits on the body. So don't try to buy one or the other. Just assume that it's a Planet Eclipse feed neck and that it should work, because it does not. But we do have them for people who are losing them, losing parts, screws falling out, they lose an arm. You can buy the complete original feed neck and replace it on your gun. Now, if you happen to have a gun like this one, where it is anodized to match, everything's matchy-match, putting a brand new black feed neck on there might not be the optimal choice, but it might be the only choice you have. So at least you have that choice. So to do it, to put a feed neck on, it can be a little tricky sometimes because sometimes they don't like to come off. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and I would recommend you do it the same way. The first thing I do when I'm working with a feed neck like this is either loosen or remove the entire top lever section. So I usually take them completely off. It just makes it easier. I take that out, and I take those two pieces and just set them to the side. Regardless of how loose or tight they are in there, sometimes they just seem like they don't want to let the feed neck go. Even if you've completely removed the bottom screw, it can just bind it up a little bit. So just take them out. It'll just make sure that your feed neck has the easiest chance of coming off that's possible. Bottom screw, obviously we're going to remove that all the way out as well. All right, and then depending on the feed neck that you have on there, if it's had some wear, if you've been using it for a while, maybe you don't have one on there at all, they come off easier than others. So this one, I can feel that it's a little bit loose on there, and that could be just from the anodizing that we've done to the gun without the screw to hold it in place, that this one might just pop off super easy like that. And it did on there. Now that might not be the case with the one that you have. So what we're going to do is what we're going to look at here is, just want to make sure that they actually got me the right ones here. Looks like it. All right, so we're going to pretend like this didn't want to come off, okay? And if you were trying, pulling, and it just wouldn't come off, what you want to do is push the feed neck down. Sometimes you'll pull, and it will like pop up a little bit and it just won't come off of there. Push it all the way back down so it's sitting flush against the body again. We're going to rotate the feed neck so that it is off center from the midline of the gun. The reason we do that is when we use our screwdriver to try to open this up and help take it off a little bit, we don't want to scratch the body of the gun. So if we keep it off the side and we're working from the side of the gun here, we're not going to run into that problem potentially. Second thing you want to get is a flathead screwdriver that is smooth. If you don't have one, what's going to happen if it's got ridges on the face here, when you put it in there and you start prying slightly, you're going to scratch up the inside of your feed neck. So that's not really a big deal. It's not going to affect the feed neck in any way, but it's not going to look pretty. So if you have a gun like this that you've spent money or you've done something to it to make it look pretty, you don't want to ruin your feed neck inside of there. So get a flathead screwdriver that is smooth, or sand one down so that it is smooth. All right, so to get it out, we are going to put the screwdriver in between the two slots right there, and we are going to slowly and gently pry side to side to help spread the feed neck out and lift it up off the body. I do that by putting my thumb underneath. I'm going to use my thumb to help push up while I am using my other hand to wiggle that back and forth. I'm just kind of walking it top there and pushing at the same time. I'm not overdoing it. I'm not just cranking one side open. Because when you put this in and you turn to crank these open, you're actually not only spreading these apart, but you're actually twisting them away from each other. So if you just really crank it, you can actually bend these pieces up so they do not line up across from each other, and you could potentially ruin it. So you don't want to just crank on it and pop it out of there. Gently open it up and push at the same time and get that feed neck to kind of walk off the top there. Don't ruin your feed neck, because then you're buying, well, that might be the whole reason you're buying one in the first place, but let's try not to ruin feed necks. When we're done, got that one off. Again, I'm going to remove that completely off of there. I'm going to remove this lower piece all the way out to the lower screw. Then we're going to drop this one back on the top. Now you should be able to just put it on there, and with a decent amount of force, you should be able to snap it down in there. I've rarely come across a feed neck where I've had to use a screwdriver to put it back on. Every once in a while it's happened, but by just putting it on the top and putting even pressure on the top of it and pushing it straight down, you should be able to get it to go back together. If not, for some reason you need to use a screwdriver again, put it in there off center again, put the screwdriver in, slowly open it and walk it back and forth while pushing on the top to get that to drop in. Once it drops down, then you can rotate it back. It should rotate freely when it's down at the bottom right there. So once we're there, yada yada, put the screw in. These ones you need to tighten down quite a bit to get them to actually snug up on there. Put our brass insert in. Put our lever in and put our thumb wheel in. And there you go. Feed neck replacement. I can't stress though, don't overdo it with the screwdriver, and make sure you buy the right feed neck because they're not the same. So Ego or Gtek style feed necks available through the website complete. So everything you need, feed neck, screws, lever, cam, everything available through the website. Order yours now through ansgear.com.